Well, I will call us to order at 5:06 p.m. for the regular October meeting. We also reminders for the seat. I will preside tonight in the absence of our board president, Wilkerson. So let's begin. Do you have first our lead acknowledgements? So the Altadena Library District acknowledges its presence on this additional ancestral and unseen gathered in the Altadena is located on the stolen homeland of the Mapleon tribe. The traditional territory of the Gabrielina Tonga is referred to as Tabanga, which includes the areas currently known as San Nicolas County, Riverside County, West San Bernardino County, parts of Orange County, as well as the Fort South. Entities such as the U.S. government and non-native settlers have subjected Gabrielina Tonga peoples to historic community injustice, including genocide, forced displacement, and cultural abuse. The Altadena Library commits to learning and educating between forming staff and residents in present day about the rich histories, vibrant communities, and culture of the Gabrielina Tonga present through our collection development, resources, and cover. Okay. Let's do it. So I'm going to read something that's for us. That Pablo is here tonight. And I want to so adult morality's life is a testament to how acts of love are most felt through dedicated work. This holds true for all of his service to Altadena. He was a fierce advocate for preserving and maintaining all that makes Altadena so special. In a Los Angeles Times article from 1995 titled, "What Direction is Altadena Headed?" he shares, "Altadena is the best kept secret in Los Angeles. Our diversity may top them all. We have everyone from Nobel Prize winners to manual laborers. Altadena is going through a stage of frustration. We have been discovered by developers who are starting to change the community's character. Our foothills of the Angeles National Forest are a great asset. We want to protect them. The openness, being next to the forest. If we lose that, we lose what we cherish most." Just 2 years prior to this article being published, he received a special award from the Sierra Club as a leader in the fight to limit the impact of Lavinia housing development in the foothills of Altadena. Even still, this continues to be even more of an issue pressing Altadena present day with aftermath of the fire. His impact is very much felt here at the Altadena Library District, as he served as a founding board of trustees for 13 years, from 1982 to 1995. During his tenure, his expertise as an architect informed his service on the board's building and grounds committee, and worked on developing recommendations for ADA compliance for the main library departments of archery. He continued to be active and advocating for the library after serving on the board, supporting future parcel tax initiatives for the district. We are so grateful to have had such an impactful member of Altadena community play such an integral role to improving the quality of experience at Altadena Library District. His service is not just limited to Altadena libraries. He also served on Altadena Town Council, Altadena Heritage Board, and was on more than one citizen advisory committee working in LA County on various Altadena urban planning initiatives, including redesigns of Lake Avenue. He played a major role in making Altadena an architectural mecca, by serving on the project area committee for the Lincoln Crossing redevelopment area before redevelopment law was canceled by jury members. The committee had done a lot of work, and so I think that it's right to design complex. Again, we're just so grateful for the work for the Altadena Library District. Now we'd like to take a moment. And we have Pablo Morales here. I don't know if you like this is a good word.
No, I just want to thank you for that. Thank you very sweet. This place was incredibly important, Father. And all 7 of his children who love this place as well. And my mom will really love it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Later on, work for lots.
Well, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
One of the board minutes, and it's me, it's very rare after year, and I realized how long we served on board. I was like, it's amazing. It's the one that's incredible. All right, let's proceed with our roll call. We do have quorum. Trustee Lim.
Here.
Trustee Ranks.
Here.
Trustee Clark, I am here, and trustee Robin will be joining us, I believe, but we will acknowledge that. Okay, let's move into our consent calendar. Can I have for motion to approve consent calendar as included in the packet? So, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. No items removed. Do we have any public comments on the agenda items? Nothing in the inbox. Let me see. Okay, super. Then we will move into our departmental updates from September 2025. Let's open up the floor for any questions or comments if you have from trustees. I can go first and just say, how exciting is it to see pictures of programming about this in one package? I love seeing all of this starting in the meeting room. It's in the meeting space. Really good something happening. Like I know it's going to be done by Slater, even if they got the full on corner. Great to see the board package, and as always, so much incredible work and incredible.
So I have a question. How are the what are the explain please?
I don't think that can be yeah. So right now they're mostly set out to outreach. It's kind of based on availability. We are pivoting in anticipation of closure, trying to be more intentional about how we use programs. So actually both programs will be activated 3 to 4 days a week by different locations. Usually divided between the children's centered program and then maybe in the afternoon an adult or all ages centered programming. And currently we're trying to rethink how we can sort of enhance our ability to mobilize those fans. So I know they have like mobile bookshelves inside of them, like really thinking through our process to make sure that when we are in these, like for example, you know, working on being in one location every Wednesday morning and having staff do their closure, like having books that you can check out, and library cards you can make in a really active, easy and accessible way. So that's something we're putting. Yeah, I mean, it's probably been out there and you've been around it. It's like, unless you go inside, you're not gonna know it's not.
Okay.
We haven't been out as much lately, but I think that's largely due to the fact that we're on 3 buildings. Versus one, so like, we've had to scale back how many times we've been saying yes to out 3 events now, so that we're making sure we're keeping some of those sites. But I am excited that Leah as well as we do and Diana have worked on with the sellers and schedule, so that we know for a fact we'll be able to keep everybody busy. And you know, really try to work, like the last couple of years, we've really been trying to do all this outreach to establish relationships and partnerships so that we can have a more consistent outreach schedule. As well as consistently scheduled staff to do so.
Right, and I mean, they always take over. Yeah.
Yeah. little free libraries, fill the vending machines, make deliveries. So yeah, they're definitely multi-purpose.
We can move on to our support groups. We have anybody who's got their team updates or any updates to share? Okay. Then let's head directly into our administrator.
All right, so good, we have number one, again, go Dodgers. We're in the middle of the World Series in case anybody goes back to watch this recording. So as usual, it's been a busy HR time as of recruitment and hiring. We're extremely excited to introduce Sammy, or Sammy. How do you say it? Last name. Ogden Celia. Ogden Celia. Thanks work on it. She joined us on September 29th, and really has hit the ground running. We had her first work plan today, and she's being kept very busy. It's very dynamic. That's happening around here. Super grateful to Catalina to be able to work alongside her in the administrative office and work with her. It's been a really busy month for whatever reason, so it's been a group effort. So I'm really excited to welcome Sandy. We also had our new adult services librarian begin with us last week on Tuesday. Christine is a former Texas for volunteer for us. Got her first librarian position for Occidental College and really wanted to come work here. She volunteers at other organizations and also being discovered up here. Really, I feel like her heart is in all to be in. So really excited. She has a very strong sewing background. She worked in the fashion industry for like 10 years before switching gears and going to the library. So very excited to have her working closely with our adult services manager on Fab Lab makerspace. And I think they're going to be great in terms of planning the new space when you're able to. So excited about that. I also provided a little bit of information about a new part-time IT specialist. They didn't have that information last month, so George has been close just to run with these well, hit the ground running as well. Very sad, bittersweet news that our assistant director actually accepted the position with the city of San Diego. She'll now be running the library for the Brown Public Library. It's a snug building. Actually contributed a lot to Altadena these last couple of years, especially in terms of building relationships, partnerships, and growing our presence outside of these walls, which has been especially important, I think, this year following the fire. So we had a little get together for her before her last day with us, and that really wished her well. And so for this next natural step in her profession. She will be. We did have another staff member promote into a full-time library clerk position, so that vacancy was posted. Interviews were held last week. I sent the conditional offer today. Interestingly, I'm not pretty sure she's accepted. She has accepted. So for her, an intern from the summer. Oh, no kidding. So how about that? That's cool. We're building the pipeline. So really excited. I believe she'll be starting. So yeah, it really has. That's 2 or 3 interns. I think it's great. So we'll have her information to share at the next meeting. In terms of the marketing update, Brenda and I were at CLA or California Library Association last week, where she received a PR Excellence Award for her work. It's always on the previous calendar year, so this was about the Bob Lee disclosure and like the campaign around all of that and on the community radios and everything like that. We'll definitely be nominating the district for all of the PR work that was done this year as well. So congrats to Bryn. At that conference, Katie and I, as we were sort of discussing before the meeting, presented on Friday, and one of our slides, we had a video of one of the Altadena conventions, which took over a minute to run through. So I was really excited too that I was able to get Bryn a round of applause, because like that Altadena conventions is the thing I get the most compliments about this year, and really how impactful it's been to people that are looking for resources and next steps and what they need to do. Brenda and I, she's also been really active with the Beacon Park Collaborative, as I'm sure you all heard, the collaboratory opened on October 7th. We actually helped provide courtesy and scanning capabilities for the laboratory, so thank you Amelia for working on that with us as well. And she continues to attend those meetings every week and is trying to help with their communications and messaging. Ad hoc crisis and recovery committee, extremely excited to share that because of our persistence, the state library will be giving us the full 360 million instead of breaking it out in chunks. So thank you to Katie for putting together a letter of appeal to the state library, and as well as to both of Senator Perez and Assembly Member Median's offices for actively advocating on our behalf. So, hooray. Sometimes being annoying and persistent pays off. So next steps with the committee, I mentioned this morning in our facilities committee meeting that we'll be talking to our lobbyist Jean first about next steps in terms of the early budget preparation for the government that I guess takes the least in June. I still haven't sent that email out, but I'll have to do so, and we'll get any talks to get in front of the state again. We had a really wonderful staff development day earlier this month on October 15th. Our topics, in the morning, we discussed mental health, self-care, recovery, all of that in partnership with an organization called Project Hope. And then in the afternoon, David and I went, the Dean of San Jose State Libraries, to come down and present on AI. This is AI 101, first time staff, really been trained on it. So next steps, we're gonna work with them to bring to the board guidelines around AI. We're not calling it a policy, probably because we'll have to keep updating it. And then also next steps, with training staff on the best practices and how to actually use it. We do not. So I think that'll be part of it too, identifying what is restriction with all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, we want to make sure we're responsibly using it. I know I love AI, to be honest, so we want to make sure the staff do too, and okay, let's move on.
That's not a good guys. Let's go.
So some of our programming partnerships, as you know, was Hispanic Heritage Month from mid-September to mid-October. We had several programs as well as displays and passive programs throughout the month. Another program that I actually wanted to highlight was for partnership with Art Recovery LA and Los Angeles County Department of Arts and Culture on the conservation fund, where community members could bring things they understand and get instruction to help conserving this. It was a very well attended program and something that I particularly appreciate. So trying to go out close to our good gets you. Let's see, we also had our latest ribbon cutting at Western Pharmacy, our local library. Thank you to Trustee Wilkerson for being there, and this is also part of our radio and shopping effort. Webster's is one of the coordinating businesses that belongs to that. We're happy to put it in. Let's see, we continue to do a community food distribution in partnership with Hollywood Food Coalition every other Wednesday. Those are also very highly attended and pretty much within the first 30 minutes, all week is picked up and moved out. So really grateful for that partnership as well. Thank you to all of the trustees for coming to see Sabina. That was a wonderful night, although this year not focused on fundraising, but more fundraising. It was a really successful event. They hung the lights that people could be talking to me about, the string lights over the parking lot. I just felt that everyone that we talked to, so thanks to the foundation. Let's see, so second Saturday is back. We had the most incredible band in October called Dance Evolution. Sadly, although we had, I think, about 150 people sign up to come, only about 70 showed up. So we really want to get the word out. In November, we have a band called Pickleback Smash. It's like a country type of band, he plays other music along those lines. And we're working right now to have a line dancing group come ahead of the concert, so that they can offer line dancing classes with the instruments. So, working on that, and hopefully we can make it, that'll be in November too. Let's see. I also wanted to highlight that one of the first partnerships Katie connected me to when I started was with the Pasadena Literary Alliance. At the Noise of God, I think we were at. We early on in the pandemic did a series of videos we had where it was like author talks virtually that we, our marketing person at the time, helped produce. And we had always meant to have a window here, and we finally did. So a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, it's all. We had 2 authors here, and this was really good. So happy to be working with them, and they also gave us a $5,000 grant this year to CTV offering adult literary focused. And I don't think we'll have much to comment on in regards to statistics. Again, if you have any feedback on what you'd like to see, let me know. The state reports of the public library survey that goes out is due Friday, so I'll make sure to provide that information as we go to that, even when I'm. I'm happy to answer any questions. Do you look at the sense of whether or not it is possible to dial up to and I know that I can express that you would really love to see it. I mean, I know that you all have there's a way that we can help people make that happen. Yeah, it's great to see. Great. I think that there's nothing else. We can move into our financial reports. At the top of something. Love it. Christie.
Hi, everyone, trustees, staff, any members of the community. Can you all hear me okay? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure because it's been a little light listening to all of you this evening, so I want to make sure. The financial report for the first quarter of the fiscal year begins on page 44 in your packet. And actually page 45 is your general fund. So we're 25% of the way through the year. And at this point in time, your revenue always looks a little bleak because the first apportionment from the county does not come in until December. I do want to comment that while we ended the year, the last fiscal year strong, they did do in this month a couple of adjustments that are for prior year. And so I haven't heard back from the county yet. I'm not sure. I'm not certain on whether these have been written off or whether they're just delayed and it was their true up. So the numbers that are reflected here do pertain to last fiscal year. I should have this next month, more information on what that means. The other line to note is our state revenue for the backfill that, we're expecting for decreases this year. I don't think we've heard any more about timing, but I would expect that to come in before end of the year as well. And then, of course, as Nikki said, we'll be dealing with the money that was granted from the state and be discussing a time frame for that, where we want to invest that, where the district would like to invest that, and how it will be spent down in what order of funding and how that'll be used. So that's exciting news that you're getting that all at once. Interest rates continue to be high, relatively high. So hopefully you can get some earnings from that as well before you start spending into that. Expenses, most categories are within budget, within your 25%. Salaries and benefits are okay. Again, always the couple of lines that we show paid in advance so that you see how much is left of your budget, and that's your workers' comp and your CalPERS UAL payments. In operating expenses, a little higher than budget, and again, mostly due to timing. Your insurance is paid in full. A shed was purchased for Bob Lucas, so there's a couple of lines there that are running a little bit ahead of budget. Your professional services and your information technology are right in line, if not just a little bit above. Just again, due to timing of some of the fees that are paid there. For materials and programs, you're going to see those a little bit on the light end until grant funds are spent. That's a change in processing this year, that grant funds will all be utilized first. So the only line you really see over, there's two of them, and that's your electronic databases. There's a subscription that used to be grant funded that the district has had to pick up this year. So that's a little bit causing that line to be a little bit over. And then literacy services. Diana and I need to connect a little bit. Both lines are fully expended, and I believe it has to do with some carryover funds and the new grant. They don't all align with fiscal year. So we'll see if that just needs a budget adjustment at year end. So for general fund, you are showing at this point in time that you're utilizing almost $1.5 million from reserves, and that's typical with every year this timing. That catches up, as I mentioned before, in December. Next page is your donations and grants. And again, there we're running a little bit ahead. We don't have all of the funding received to date. It usually your friends and foundations submit their funds in spring, and some of the other grants will come in later during the year. There are two new gifts here. We've got a miscellaneous donation and your direct relief community recovery grants. So those were not budgeted, but the funding has already been received. And you'll start to see expenditures below, and then we'll get those adjusted into the budget as well when we do that mid-year. So at this point in time, at this point in time, it looks like about $11,000 is all that remains for grant funding to be. And when that realized, we expect that to go down to zero, and then you'll continue to use that, and then we'll move more expenses over to general fund. Any questions before I move to your capital or your building? Okay. The next one is the combined, just showing you together where you're at, that you can see the specific lines that are funded by the grant in addition to those from general fund. The next two pages, page 49 and 50, are your building projects. And again, not a lot of activity for this first quarter as Bob Lucas activity is winding down. But as main project starts up, you'll start to see those a lot more activity on these reports. Page 50 is your combined, where you see a lot more activity broken out by the different lines. And what you will see there just in total is on line 7, 29 million, and that includes all of the interest that's been earned for the year, and the balance is down to just below 23 million. So you can see that about 6 million has been spent between the two projects and where we are with those lines. And I believe your last report is your balance sheet, which is healthy. No real changes or anything to note there. Sorry, my report's going a little crazy. Yeah, you can see your cash and investments are the bulk of it. That's at 27 million. And you can see how much of that is made up from your special tax bonds and the special tax assessment. What I will note is that the payments, the last payment that was made towards your bond was September 1st, and the next one is not due until March. So the board will need to decide what to do in making those payments. We'll see if all of the revenues come in and there's a cash flow issue or not, and then also what to do about the loan that was made to make that September payment. It was an internal loan from general fund, and the language was pretty flexible when the board approved that resolution. So there'll be a discussion later when more dollars are in and we have better information to determine whether that will be forgiven and just covered by the new dollars that are coming in from the state, or whether there will be some type of a payment that goes comes back, depending on where all of your tax assessments are. So that will happen in a couple of months. Yeah, I'll leave it there. The last couple pages are again just explanations of what the lines include and then some of the highlights that I brought up. Any questions? Okay, I'll just note that we'll be going through a few things in November at the budget committee meeting. We'll be talking about your pension policy in preparation for how you may budget for that moving forward. And then we'll bring that same discussion back to the next board meeting as well. Your next boarding meeting will also have your audit report. So the external auditor will be here to present that report, and everything looks good, looks clean with that report. I'm expecting the final draft for us to review next week. So if there are no questions, that's all I have.
Let me ask you one quick question. When will we get the next round of delinquency? Like when do we go? December, January?
I didn't hear all the question. I think is it Katie that's talking? Sorry, I didn't hear the last round of what?
When will we get the next round of delinquency numbers?
Oh, soon. They looked really good at year end. So I was a little surprised to see these true up entries. So I'm expecting, I've got a communication out to the county, and then also NBS is able to pull some of that as well. So we can have a report for you in the next report. I think we'll see for sure what's happening in December. And it may take even till spring before we know how many people were deferred versus delinquent. But we should at least have an update report for you by the next meeting.
All right, any other questions for Christie? All right, Christie, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay. Committee reports, facilities committee report is in the board package. I don't think there's anything super dramatic to add, other than we had a first contractor walkthrough. I think we're still planning to bring forward our contractor proposal selection. Right?
You know, is it November or December? I mean, that's a good question. The recommendation to hire a contractor, is it May, December?
November.
But the deadline, because it's coming, right? Well, right, yeah, so it's definitely at least December.
Okay.
I have to go through the selection process, right?
Okay, so then never mind. Yeah, we're not gonna do what's for them. But other than that, everything's still on track. We're class break them all about Olympics. Right here, all right, into new business, item 6A is resolution 2025-06, which is basically authorizing us to get. So you know about one?
Great. So since January, we've annual install, we did have communication with FEMA, and we have submitted an application to do the process experience from fires. So as a formality, when FEMA hands that off to the state, and now the state with basically closes out that grant that we applied for. We need to have designated individuals who can do those dealings on the district's account. We didn't have a document on file. This is actually something that we didn't have to be specific names, we use titles. This is actually good for us for the next 3 years, probably the day for this masters, but we won't need to sign this for you in 3 years. So it's based off of our experience. We just felt like facilities manager, industry specialist, the district director,
for the individual CDs. Obviously, they have to see. It's, again, it's just, it's informal resolution, so the trustees, you're actually not signing up on anything. The district's, administrative assistant, and actually just sign off on it, like, yes, these trustees are very significant. So I know the board packet, it's not reflective of the names that they can prepare, but that's okay, because they could do. Okay, so finale. All right.
We're all yours.
All right, making a motion that then to approve the designation of agent resolution for not stating. All right, all in favor? All right. Let's look at the calendar. So we've got two items. Both about calendar stuff. So first up, is our holidays and pleasures calendar we use every year. These are the things that the library will be closed. We have, I mean, it's the first thing that we've done is. Great, taking a motion to approve the holidays and pleasure calendar. All right, on favor? And then we always approve our meeting dates. You have to do this because this is how we set regular meetings. There are a couple of things we're required to do at regular meetings, so it's set at that time. Usually our fourth Monday, except for a couple of dates of the year, which probably address the any questions or concerns with
So the Weirdo is the seventh, we normally would have that on the third Monday, but that is the 21st. So we weren't sure if the board would prefer the 21st, we could move that. It's a little bit ahead of the Christmas holiday, but this is what we can always address it. Let's see what this is. I think that's fine. All right, cool. We get a motion to approve our meeting documents. Great, all in favor? Any governance items? No. Yes, now please, let's do it.
Announcements, hopefully town council elections are coming up. First and second week in November, it's November 1st, 4th, and 8th. There is a free registration link online, as well as a link to candidate statements. Also, they are for volunteers, when it is available, we volunteer on the polling stations. You said, but more so come out and vote. A lot of candidates this year.
Justin, I got a question. Who's somebody asking, our total loss survivor, house burn down, and they state so much.
They can piece the picture to go in the census tract, it's thinking, like, they're looking something else. But right now, that census tract, or the election, ISIS.
We'll also have, obviously, yesterday, there was a candidate forum, was taking place tomorrow, from 6:30 to 8:30 on Zoom. So people learn more about minutes, I'm sure that information. Yes. All right, we can vote where? You can vote here at the libraries. Okay. Try to. Okay, any other announcements or, okay, I'll just point out, we have the CFD committee and the budget committee, we have a few months. If we don't have anything to discuss, we can see, but we are having the budget committee meeting on November 13th at 2:00. The big thing that we want to make sure we discuss with the board is that we funded the food liability policy. As we're approaching the year, having conversation about what we might want to put aside for that, if or not. Trustee and the colleague, drafted in one, so we'll be doing that to the community.
That's what that is. It's all, that's,
It's the same.
it's all like, yeah, it's all, well, you know, countries and.
No, that might be another question. So we doing, as far as I know, right, evaluation in one of the as well. So we'll do closed session, does the board want to start early, does the board want to do like the end, then we can. Maybe give us some presentation. Cause that usually takes an hour. So see, we'll check with, you know, there to see if we can come up forward. That,
Yeah, and you get the candidates, so let's do.
okay.
So,
Okay.
okay, any requests for future agenda items you want to see? No? Right. Well, if there's no further business and no objection, I will return us at 5:47 PM on the second, I mean, not,